What's happening, FPL managers? Welcome back to another deadline stream. My name is Mo. This is my FPL channel, FPL Inkling, and today we'll be discussing the final game week deadline stream and selection for game week 27 for the Fantasy Premier League season 2020-2021. This is the COVID hit season, so every decision that we do make is going to be vital, and it's going to be based on a week-to-week basis with any new challenges or any difficulties, or maybe difficult decisions to make of who to keep, who to bring in, and who to captain. So we'll be discussing all that. I'll be going through the transfer decisions that I've made last week, performances, expectations, best selections, point hits they've taken, and let's see how we can maximise our game week return. So before we begin, I will go through about the channel, what we're doing, and how we're going to make sure that we get you guys the best game week rank, best positions in your mini leagues, and the highest position possible, and potentially get you to win the game, because that's what all the managers hope to do for the game itself. So this is FPL Inkling. If you guys have been part of my channel before in terms of viewing a video and you haven't subscribed yet, I am aware that there is about 75% of people who watch my videos but are not my subscribers. So to let you guys know, I do have a bet. I've told you guys before with one of my mates that by game week 38, which will be the last game week and the end of the season this year, if I can get 500 subscribers, I'm on 84 at the moment, I will win the bet, and he will have to buy me a PS5. So guys, please, thank you so much for your support, your kind words and feedback to where I can improve. I've tried to bring in as much as I can. I've rebranded my channel, trying to make it as best as possible for you guys, to give you the best content and give you guys the information you need to be the best at this game. So if you like what you see and you guys are happy and you guys want to see me week in, week out, subscribe to the channel, like this video if you liked it, and hit the notifications icon. So anytime I release a new video, you'll get the notification to view it straight away. This is my first premiere show, so thank you for tuning in, and let's start this game week show and give you guys the insight for this weekend. I hope everyone's had a good week and everyone had a good double game week for 26. I had a great week, to be fair. Overall, I got 100 points. I know it hasn't updated here at the moment. It's still waiting to update in terms of from 97 to 100 for the game points I've got from Son today. How was everyone's week? I mean, we all got a hit, right? No one got, I think hardly anyone must have got a team where all 11 players, if they did have double game week players, played the whole 180 minutes. I was hit by a regular not playing yesterday, so that was a hit for me. But no worries, I mean, that's part of the game. I mean, he's coming back from injury, so I couldn't really complain much, and he gave me a return of 10 points from the first game. So tell me, what hits went well for you? I took a 16-point hit, 6 transfers out, 4 of them were hits, but if I'd continued to keep the team that I had previously, then I would not have got nowhere near 100 points for game week 26 then, which I did achieve. So let's have a look at this team. Now, I'm not really satisfied with the team, how it looks, but before I do go through the team itself, I'll tell you the transfer that I have made. I have brought in James Ward-Prowse. Now, the reason why I have, it's a double game week for Man City and Southampton. So I already have 3 Man City players, and I've really had a look around, and I had 1 free transfer. I don't intend to take a game week hit this week because I have a plan for next week, which I will release to you guys in terms of transfers. So Ward-Prowse is kind of like a 1 week kind of bring in, unless he scores a hat-trick against Man City, gets a ridiculous double-digit game week return, and I think Southampton have turned a corner, and he impresses me to the extent that I want to keep him for longer. I will keep him in, but based on the last 5 game weeks, he's only got 1 goal against Newcastle, and total points since then have been 4, 8, 17. So the total points is not actually too bad, but only 1 goal in terms of a return from a player who takes pretty much all their set pieces, barring penalties. I would expect more. So I don't have much expectations from him for the City game, but it's always good to have a double game week player, and their first game is against Sheffield, which will be played on the weekend, and then midweek it will be the Man City game. So let's have a look at their fixtures after the Man City game. So I'm actually quite tempted to actually review this now, and I might actually even keep him because he's got Brighton in 28. He hasn't got a game week in 29, followed by Burnley at home, West Brom away, and Crystal Palace at home. So actually, I might reconsider that strategy. I may keep him in and use the 1.1 mil spare funds that I do have elsewhere. So that's the transfer that I've done. In terms of captaincy, what am I feeling? Again, it's going to be a player who's playing the double game week, so it could be either Diaz, Gundogan, De Bruyne, or Ward-Prowse. Who do I feel is my lucky charm this week? Gundogan, ever since De Bruyne has come back, there's a chance of rotation, which used to remain before De Bruyne got injured, and he became the main talisman. So I think I'm going to be making my decision based on those stats and how compromised. So De Bruyne is going to be my captain. And my vice captain is going to be... Who should I go as my vice captain? I mean, he's going to play one of the games anyway, unless he gets injured. I'll keep it as Fernandes. I've got Watkins at home or West Ham away. Ollie Watkins. Now that's a decision. I mean, Watkins... been decent in the last 5 game weeks on the pitch. He's got 1 goal and 1 assist in terms of return the last 5 game weeks. And then you've got Patrick Bamford, who's on the bench for me because of the double game week last week. Again, he's only got 2 returns and 2 goals. It's pretty similar. I think based not on the fixtures, but based on the fact of Patrick Bamford being part of a team who's far more aggressive, and Watkins being without Jack Grealish, and Bamford being on penalties, I'm actually going to consider bringing him in to my team. Crystal Palace at home, Dyer or Watkins, it doesn't really matter. Man City away, Luke Shaw, he's been a... Look at the team. I mean, I'm pretty content with this one. So I'll submit my team. It's been saved. So guys, this is my team release for you guys. So I'll have Martinez in goal, who'll be playing against Wolves at home. My back 3 is going to be Reguilon, Diaz and Shaw, followed by my captain, which is De Bruyne, Son, Fernandes, Ward-Prowse and Gundogan, and my strikers are Bamford and Jamie Vardy. I mean, if De Bruyne did not have a good double game week and he was playing just Manchester United, I think my captain this week potentially could have been Son, and my vice captain would have been Jamie Vardy. My vice captain doesn't really make a difference to me, so the captaincy could have been out of Son and Jamie Vardy. So yeah, I'm pretty content with De Bruyne because of his game weeks itself. So going through some of the games. Well, actually, we'll go through each game one by one. So we've got Burnley against Arsenal, which is the lunchtime kickoff on Saturday. It's going to be a cracker of a game because Burnley at home are an absolute great force in terms of a defence. Arsenal, I've had my laugh, I had my fun early on the season with their form. But Mikel Arteta, he needs to be given a real pat on the back for the way the team has come along. You've got Saka, who's been an absolute force. Pepe's come into a bit of form. Willian, who's been like the #1 villain in Emirates and London, and North London especially. So they've done really, really well. Aubameyang, barring the Leeds hat-trick, he's not really been much of a... I mean, he's been a shadow of a performer of what he was last season. So have you guys got him in your team? So let's see how that game is going to pan out. You know, you've got Martinelli, who hasn't started much, but I think he's a really good prospect. You've got Smith Rowe, Gabriel in defence, Leno in goal. Arsenal got a good project going along. I think Mikel Arteta needs some time, and I think if we give him the time, he will come along really well. So we'll go through questions as well. I've got a list of questions and we'll go through some of the fixtures. So for me, if I have to give a prediction for that game, probably 1-1. I think it'll be a draw. There'll be goals in there. It'll probably be a 1-1 between Burnley and Arsenal. So the first question I had was, I'll be looking at another screen to my right, so if you do see me look away, the questions are all on the right hand screen. So I've got -4 for Kevin De Bruyne and Ward-Prowse, for Sterling and Harvey Barnes. Should I do this transfer? I think you should. Obviously, Harvey Barnes is injured, so I made the transfer to Ward-Prowse. Kevin De Bruyne, for me, is more likely to start both games compared to Sterling. So yes, I would definitely take a 4-point hit for that transfer, and I definitely would make Kevin De Bruyne your captain for this game week. So definitely consider making a -4 for that. But if you think that taking a 4-point hit for Sterling for De Bruyne is not worth it, then definitely Harvey Barnes, like I did for Ward-Prowse. You need to definitely consider that and see what other kind of transfers you could use or make up for those funds that you do get available because of the transfer between Harvey Barnes and Ward-Prowse. The next game we have is Sheffield United at home to Southampton. Both teams are not in great form, to be fair. I expect Sheffield United to put up a real fight. They have won a game against Aston Villa. Southampton, it's time for a reaction, don't you think? You've got Danny Ings, you've got Ward-Prowse, you've got Che Adams, there's no Theo Walcott. Now, for me, since Walcott's been injured, that's been like the biggest kind of like affecting the offensive play for Southampton, and Carl Walker-Peters being injured in defence and other defenders being injured have been like another catalyst in the defensive errors, as resulted in Southampton being so leaky in their defence, causing the 9-0 defeat at Old Trafford and other games that they've lost. So it doesn't fill me with too much confidence even against Sheffield United. So my prediction for that game, I'll probably say 2-1 Sheffield or 2-1 Southampton. Either way, it'll be a 2-1 result. I can't really, because both teams have been so bad, it's not an easy decision for me. So I'll say 2-1 either way for that game on Saturday afternoon. Is it worth bringing in a Southampton players against City? Well, why not? It's a double game week. There's nothing guaranteed there this season. I know they've been the most consistent team, City, in regards to their results and their performances, even whether they're home or away. I am sure that both their home games they will be absolutely, consistent, and they won't be nervous about getting a result from that. And their rotation, their players will be fresh. But yeah, you need to get in a double game week player. So if I had a chance, I probably would have put another 2 players of Southampton in there. But I just don't see where I can spare the positions. Would I really want to bring back Danny Ings for Bamford? I trusted him for 5-6 game weeks previously and he didn't come good. There's no reason why he can't come good now, but I haven't seen much of him to convince me. I definitely would have brought in Carl Walker-Peters. I mean, I'm not going to say they're going to keep a clean sheet in either game against Sheffield or Manchester City, but I would have considered bringing him in for sure. Or maybe McCarthy if I didn't have Martinez in and I was solidified for his position. So yeah, I definitely would consider bringing in 3 players from Southampton to maximise your return from a double game week. Because remember, if you don't get it from your first game week, there's a potential you can get it from a second. Now I'm banking on like a Ward-Prowse special free kick corner or that magical pass to break the City defence to get a goal. You never know. So why not take a chance? I'll definitely bring in, if you can't get all 3, at least try to get 1 like I have in this situation for the double game week. The next game we have is the tea time kickoff, which is between Aston Villa and Wolves, which is the West Midlands derby. That's going to be a cracker of a game. Again, without Grealish, will Aston Villa be as potent as they usually are? Wolves are without their main striker, Jimenez, for the last couple of months. So both teams have had their ups and downs this season. I think it's going to be a cracking game, and I'm going to predict 2-2 for that game itself. I think maybe Traore and El Ghazi might be the top performers. So that's my prediction. It's going to be 2-2 for Wolves against Aston Villa. The next one is worth talking about hits for a double game week. Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to take hits for it, I took hits for the last game week. It was a double game week and it was worth it for me. But for this one, I've weighed it out. But for me, it's not viable to take any further hits. I haven't taken any hits this week. It's just the one transfer I had and I've done that. So I've not taken a hit. But if you feel that you can improve your squad and add the depth to it with this double game week of Man City versus Southampton, then please consider taking the the hits for the double transfers and see how you guys can maximise your returns. You'll be surprised because even McCarthy, if he concedes let's say 3 or 4 goals and he makes about 9 saves, that's 3 extra bonus points he'll get for the saves made, because every 3 saves he's going to make, he's going to get a bonus point. So it might not actually even be that much of a bad, what's the right thing to say, a bad decision to bring him in, because if he plays 2 minutes for 90 plus 3 for saves over 9 saves, he's still got 5 points and he's conceded 4 goals. So keep that in mind, guys. That is, and obviously then you can minus the 2 points for the 4 goals conceded. So he can still get 3 points, 4 points for that game week. Obviously, if he gets like bonus points in regards to the players of the match, they're around 3 to 5 points. It can be, even though he concedes a couple of goals. So maybe McCarthy might not be a bad shout. But if I'm not wrong, I think they started. Let me have a look. Did Southampton change their goalkeeper for this last game week? I'm pretty certain I saw it during their game. Did they play? They did indeed. They played Forster against Everton for 90 minutes. So again, he's worth 4 mil. So is it actually worth getting in as your reserve people? Like I've got Martin, for example. Is it actually worth transferring your reserve goalkeeper for 4 mil for Forster, even if there's a chance that you got McCarthy in first, just to see if you can fit him in and potentially have one goalkeeper playing out of the 2 for your squad? So that's something to worth considering for your team. The late kick-off for Saturday night is going to be Brighton at home to Leicester. Now, Brighton have been great at home. It was unlucky against West Brom. They missed 2 penalties, so there's no complaints from there. There should be no complaints from their side. But, that whole fiasco with the referee, free kick, quick free kick, disallowed, allowed, then disallowed. It was an absolute mare. But the positive is they are creating chances. So if you do have players like Mopai or Ben Dunk in your team, or Gross, keep him in. For Leicester, I've got Vardy. I lost Barnes due to injury. I definitely would have kept him in, and I wouldn't have probably... I wouldn't have stopped him. Would I have kept Barnes against Brighton at home? Not too sure. I mean, the result of the game they played yesterday could have been different if they'd had Barnes on the pitch, as they played Burnley. No one knows. So again, it would have been a toss of a coin between Ward-Prowse and Harvey Barnes for me. But the form that Harvey Barnes has been absolutely unreal for the last 5 to 6 weeks. So that's going to be a good game between Leicester and Brighton. I think Leicester will win the game. So I'm predicting 3-1 for that fixture. And I think Vardy will grab a goal and an assist, or maybe a penalty. Fingers crossed for my game week. Next question is St. Maximin. No returns. Shall I transfer him out? No, I don't think you should. I watched the Newcastle game. So I saw Newcastle play their game on the weekend, and he was fabulous. He was unlucky on many occasions. He made some really good runs down the left-hand side. He put the defence under pressure. He put a ball across the 6-yard box. There was no one there to finish. I think someone like a Callum Wilson, who's in and around that kind of like 6-yard area, would have definitely made the most of his runs. He's looking eager. He's kind of like their main focal point of scoring a goal. Now, I know Newcastle don't score many goals, but Maximin is a rare talent for me. And if I had the scope to bring him into my squad, I definitely would. But he's a really good differential. And let's have a look. How much is he worth? So let's go back to the transfers. Newcastle. Saint Maximin. Oh, he's actually got a groin injury. So I didn't even realise that he's back on 3rd of April. So he's out for a month. So maybe not bring him in now. I wasn't even aware of that. But yeah, if he was available, I definitely would have brought him in. He got a goal against United, even though they lost 3-1. And he was really... I think he got... Let's have a look. Didn't get bonus point. He got 3 points against Wolves. So he got 10 points in his last 2 game weeks, and he didn't play 90 minutes in either game. So personally, I definitely would have brought him in. But if he's got a groin injury, then no. You should transfer him out, not because of his goal returns, but because of the fact that he is injured. Didn't realise that. So let's have a look at the next game week on Sunday. So Sunday's lunchtime fixture is West Brom at home to Newcastle. Could be a battle of relegation there. Sam Allardyce versus Steve Bruce. I might expect a firecracker, maybe not. I think it'll be a 1-1. Could be a 0-0 as well. Either team will set up not to lose, in my opinion. So, two managers looking for a solid performance. So, I'm going to predict 0-0 for West Brom v Newcastle. The next question I have is it time to play my wild card? Again, your choice. I will go through a chip strategy for game week 29 to 33 in the next week or so. I will go through what alternatives you could use and how you can maximise your returns. But if you feel that this is the right time for you to play your wild card, then please do. But one thing I will make you aware of, if you're going to plan your wild card for game week 29 when there's only like 4 games being played, just be careful of the fact that that will be your team then set up for the rest of the season. So if you do have like a free hit chip available, maybe use the free hit chip rather than going for the wild card itself. But if you think it's the right time for you to play it, you should play it. I've already played my wild card, so I can't really say that I'm definitely going to play it or not. But yeah, if you've got your wild card, then definitely play it if you think it's the right time to do so. Has Bruno lost his touch? Is it time for me to transfer him out? Let's have a look. So he didn't have the best double game week against Chelsea and I think it was Chelsea and Crystal Palace. Sorry, I had a bit of a brain fade there. So you got 6 points over those 2 games, and if you look at his games before that, he got 4 goals and 3 assists over his last 4 game weeks. So maybe he hasn't lost his touch. He probably had a bad week. Probably a bit of fatigue as well with all the games that he's played. His next 2 game weeks are Man City this weekend and West Ham. Then he's got no game week in 29 and then Brighton in 30. So I think if you've brought him in recently and if his value is 11.6, if it's not going to be too much of a price hike or a hit for you, because some players might have brought him in when he was only 11 mil. So if it's not going to fit the balance of your team in terms of financial reasons, then I think this is a good time to take him out and maybe bring in someone else from, like, let's say Man City, maybe someone from Tottenham who have a bit more friendly fixtures. Yuri Tielemans from Leicester. So I think it's a good time to swap him out. To drop him for the full season, you're going to have to be brave because he's got 196 points and he's high ownership. So if he does do well in the game, let's say, even if United don't win the game and he gets an assist or a goal, or even if it's a draw and it's a 1-1 and he's like one of the main players, he may get 1 or 2 bonus points or maybe 3, and he may get a penalty or a goal or assist. So again, if there's 60% of managers who are owning him and you've taken him out, it may be a point where, the red arrow may favour you in that situation. So I would think about it again. Think what options you have. Think what value they will add to your squad. Can you take this hit? Is it worth taking this hit, or is it just worth being patient? For me, I'm a loyalist. I've made the mistake of taking him out early in the season, and it came back to bite me because that game week was against Everton and he got 17 points. So for me, regardless of whether I captain him or not, or whichever team he plays, I'm not going to be taking out Bruno from my team. In Bruno, we do trust, as I always say. Will Cancelo and Sterling play against Wolves? It's a good question because Cancelo is rotational. He only played 1 game week and so did Sterling. So pretty much the likelihood is they will. I can't guarantee. Obviously, Pep Roulette does take place, but if you've got them in your squad, make sure you have a strong bench because then with players of those nature who are likely to be rotated on a regular basis, then you should have a strong bench. Don't go for the 4 mils or the 3.9 mils or 4.5 mil kind of midfielders or 5 mil strikers who don't play, because if you have these rotational players in and you've maximised all your budget on the 11 players, then you run the risk of having players who don't play, and you can end up playing with like 8 players in a game week, which if you have like 3 players from Man City is quite likely because of Pep's rotational policy. So I'd definitely consider looking at your bench. Do a few transfers. If it makes your bench look stronger, then keep those 2. And I think he'll play both players against Manchester United. So we can definitely see them playing against Manchester United. So the next game is Liverpool at home against Fulham. Liverpool have lost 5 home games in a row. It's never happened before. Fulham have played absolutely wonderful. They've lost against Spurs, but I do believe they have got a lot of good form. It was unlucky with that handball. I don't know what the handball rule is now. I've already mentioned my frustrations with the whole it's Callum Hudson-Odoi against United, where his hand was like there and it hits his fingers, and the referee says it's a natural position. I mean, what is a natural position in football? You know, the striker had his hands by his side and the ball hits his hand and it's considered a handball. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Fulham have done really well. Scott Parker's got a lot to be proud of. He's had a really difficult season. People have doubted him. People wanted him gone. But he's still here and he's got them in a relegation fight. And if they'd won, they would have gone out of the relegation zone for the first time since 21st of December. So for me, Liverpool's current home form, along with Fulham's form, I'm going to say it's going to be a 1-1. I reckon Liverpool will score, but Fulham will score as well. So I'm going to give it a 1-1, which was the exact same score that they had previously when they met at Fulham's home ground earlier in the season. So another question is, transfer Lingard in for Barnes. Is he the best replacement? And he plays in game week 29. Oh, let's have a look at that. I wasn't aware of that part, to be fair. So Leicester. So Harvey Barnes, expected about 10th of April, yeah. So he's just gone for 4 to 5 game weeks. And let's have a look at West Ham. Lingard. So yeah, he is here, owned by now 6% of managers nearly. Price is 6 mil. He's got 39 points. And he's got most of them over the last 5 game weeks. 3 goals, 2 assists. And let's see his fixtures. He's got Leeds at home, United away. He can't play United. And then he's got Arsenal. Now, I'd bring, if you had a player on the bench who you know he could replace, he can be replaced for United because of the loan agreements. He won't be able to play against United, but he's got a game week against Arsenal. I might even think about bringing in like Mikel Antonio, Thomas Soucek, Cresswell. Yeah, I might even consider bringing any of those guys in for game week 29. But if you want to bring in Lingard and you've got the transfers now, then against Leeds, I think it'll be a good fixture because it's going to be goals in there, and he's very offensive, as you guys can see, and he's kind of like leading the West Ham forward line. So that's a good question. I would definitely consider Lingard for Harvey Barnes' replacement. Mason Mount, the best replacement for Barnes. Again, he played really well tonight. Let's have a look at his stats. And I think Harvey Barnes, I've never seen so many questions around him. Let's have a look. Mason Mount. Owned by 7.4% of managers, just under 7 mil is his price. Last 5 game weeks, 3 goals. And I think Thomas Tuchel is really a big fan of him. He hasn't got a game week in game week 29, but he plays Everton at home and Leeds away. Everton's a hard game, you know. They're both going for the same kind of like Champions League spot. Is it going to be like a stalemate at 0-0? I'm not too sure, but I am considering bringing in. Oh, it's put me in a bit of. Unless I bring in. I don't bring him in this week, obviously, against Everton. I can bring Mount in for the Leeds game. Transfer him out then for game week 29. Bring in Lingard because he's got a game week. I think that's something worth considering, to be fair. So I'll keep that in mind. So yeah, Mount is good replacement. But just be aware of the fact that he's not in game week 29. So if you're going to be bringing in a player who's worth 7 mil, make sure you have someone from the game week for 29, those 4 game week players who can come in and replace him for that week. Another question we have is transfer Kevin De Bruyne for Bruno and reverse the transfer in game week 32. What happens in game week 32? Let's have a look quickly. Fernandes. 32 Burnley, Leeds, Liverpool, Aston Villa. Who does Kevin De Bruyne have then? Let's have a look. Aston Villa, no game week in 33. It's a League Cup final. Yeah, it's the League Cup final. Yeah, I think that's not a bad strategy, do you know? Aston Villa, yeah. Way. Yeah, so I think that's a good strategy to bring in KDB now if you have Bruno and you want to transfer him out, and then definitely bring him back in game week 32 because then KDB doesn't have a game week in 33, whereas Fernandes will be playing. Let's have a look. Game week 33, Leeds away. Yeah, so I think that's a good shout. Definitely do consider bringing De Bruyne in for this week because he's got a double game week, and then transferring back out for game week 32 because then in 33 he will be playing the League Cup final, and it's going to be a blank game week for Man City. The next game is going to be, the biggest derby for me in the Premier League. It's going to be Manchester City at home against Manchester United. What does my heart say compared to what my brain says? My heart would like a United win 2-0. But what has... what can I say? I mean, as a United fan, I'm sorry if I'm going to upset any United fans here, but as an honest football fan, looking at the two games they've played recently in the last game week and the way City have played, I think United are going to struggle. They have a really good away form. I think the best we could take is a 1-1. But if City turn up and they put the pressure on and they play us off the park and they don't give us the respect they gave us at Old Trafford earlier in the season, I reckon it could be a 3-1 comfortable victory to Man City. That's just my opinion. Hopefully it won't happen and United can come away with a result and we can kind of narrow the gap at the top of the league to make the league slightly more interesting. Otherwise, I think that City have won the league pretty comfortably. For the league and the betterment and the excitement, I think everyone should support United on the weekend to kind of make it slightly more interesting or bring a bit of hope back to catching Man City. But if that's not the case, then I think City can quite firmly say they've got their hands on the title and crown for this season. Next question is El Ghazi for Grealish. Will he lose his spot once fit? El Ghazi, to be fair, he's a really exciting player to watch when he does play, but my concern with him is he's not a regular. Even if Grealish is fit or not fit. So let's have a look at El Ghazi. He's worth 5.3 mil, worth a good price, owned by less than 1% of managers. In the last 3 game weeks, he's played 190 minutes. He's got 1 goal. I personally wouldn't bring him into my team, but if you want him as a bench replacement, just to cover, just in case one of your players don't play, I mean, he's not a guaranteed starter. So if you were going to play someone, then I would definitely consider someone like a Kante for that price. But if you feel that you have a good kind of inkling or a good gut feeling about El Ghazi, then please do go for him. That's what the nature of the game is. If that's what you feel for a player, bring him in. But for me, I definitely would bring him in at this stage. Is it time to captain Bale? Is he a must-own? My answer to both of those questions is no. He's not a must-own. He hasn't played anywhere near 4 minutes, 66, 60 minutes. I can show you guys on here as I showed you on a video before. Let's have a look. So Son's worth 0.2 more than him. But in the last... he got 19 points against Burnley, but he only played 69 minutes, 66 minutes against Fulham, 45 minutes against West Ham, and 18 minutes against Man City. So he has got 4 game week returns in the last 3 games. You want to captain him, it's your choice. If you have a good feeling about it, they're against Crystal Palace at home. I'd rather captain Son personally because I just feel that there's a chance of him being rotated, there's a chance of him being dropped. So I wouldn't captain him, definitely, and I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't have him in my team over Son because I've got Son myself. Any Arsenal players to bring in? Good question. I went through a few earlier. Let's have a look. Leno, definitely for goal. If you want to consider a good 5 million keeper, plays regularly, and I think he's a good shot stopper. In terms of defence, Kieran Tierney. 68 points this season. He's done really well. He's got a goal and 2 assists across the season. His next fixtures are against Burnley and the North London derby, followed by West Ham and Liverpool. So maybe defensively I might not go for any players at the moment. But in midfield, Aubameyang, He's owned by around 7% of players, just over 11.3 mil his value. 8 goals and 1 assist. You need to remember he's got a hat-trick in one of the games. But if you take him back to game week 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 game weeks, barring the hat-trick, he's got no goal, returns or assists. So definitely not a Aubameyang for me. Saka for 5.2, absolute bargain. He's got 5 goals and 4 assists, 1 assist in the last 5 games, but if you look at his games live, he looks so active. So I personally believe that if you're going to bring an Arsenal player, this is number 1 for me, followed by Pepe. Pepe's really come along in the last couple of weeks. He had a good game against Leicester. He had a good game against Wolves where he got a goal as well. Been a bit lucky, but yeah, definitely consider Pepe second. And then Willian was man of the match. Sorry, Arsenal fans, I do not mean to upset you guys, but he was really good against Leicester. I know you guys have had your reservations. Plus, he's got more assists than Ziyech. All Chelsea fans, please don't shout at me at your screen right now. But he's got more assists than Ziyech. And I remember all the face-off and kind of like battles that the fans did have. So, Willian, at the price he's coming in for, 7.5 mil, only owned by 3%, could be a differential. Xhaka, red card, waiting to happen. Not owned by many managers, 0.4%. He's worth 5.2. And in terms of forward, Lacazette for an 8 million. I reckon there's better options out there. You've got DCL Richarlison scored 2 and 2, a really good option. You've got Sigurdsson, who's been giving him good service. So I'll definitely say Richarlison over Lacazette for that. So yeah, I mean, for this game week, I'd say Saka followed by Pepe followed by Willian will be my 3 Arsenal players that I'd recommend to you. So the next game was Spurs against Crystal Palace. I think Spurs should win that 2-0. I know Crystal Palace won the reverse fixture. I think Spurs will win that one 2-0. Then you got Chelsea on Monday night against Everton. Now that'll be a cracker-jacker for me. 2 teams fighting for Europe. Everton, for a long, long time, have been waiting for this to be above Liverpool at this stage of the season where they are, and they've played 1 game less. Can Everton get into the top 4? Ancelotti has started to say that this might be the year for us. So let's see. Let's see how they do. It could be a stalemate. Both teams might set up not to lose. That might be a result which actually favours kind of teams around them like this. Who else is coming on? West Ham. You got Liverpool, Spurs. They might actually benefit from that result. For me, all I want to say to you guys is Arsenal have had a bad season, and a lot of people could kind of like, had the ambition for them to get relegated early November. But this is a stellar start I'm going to give you guys. Since the start of the year, Liverpool have played 10 games this year in the Premier League, and they've got 11 points. They lost 5 at home. I think they're only better than West Brom, Sheffield and Fulham, and they're the 4th worst in terms of points gained this season. So Liverpool got some serious ground to make up, and I think if either team gets a victory between Chelsea and Everton, I think Liverpool are going to be concerned and they're going to be worried. So maybe their only route back into the Champions League is probably going to be by winning it. So all Liverpool fans can cross their fingers or toes to pray that it's 0-0 for them. And the next game on Monday, which is going to happen at 8 o'clock, is West Ham Leeds. Now, I think that's going to be another cracker-jacker. I reckon it's going to be loads of goals in there, so I'm going to say 2-2. I think there'll be goals and both teams will go out and kind of not go for like a defensive approach. Bielsa and David Moyes will give it a good shot, so I reckon 2-2, West Ham and Leeds. Final game, not least, Man City versus Southampton. I'm going to say 4-0 Manchester City. But I hope it's 4-1, so Ward-Prowse gets me a return and I can get some points off him as well. I'd lose my Diaz clean sheet points to Ward-Prowse if he's involved in the goal. Otherwise, I'll take the clean sheet and 2 points for Ward-Prowse. So those are the game week fixtures that we've gone through. For you, I've got a few questions left. Will Vardy lose his touch without Barnes and Maddison? Again, that's subjective. He's still got Tielemans, he's got Mendy, Iheanacho, Ricardo. So he's got the players in the squad to give him the support. Obviously, they can't give him the support that Barnes and Maddison. And Maddison potentially could come back into the squad. We are waiting for confirmation from Leicester and Brendan Rodgers. So let's see. But Vardy's been class for years now. He can literally turn it on Any moment he's a danger for any squad. He's on penalties. He's always in and around the 6-yard area. He's causing nuisances for defence. He's not selfish. That's what makes him such an attractive prospect for me as a manager. That regardless, if he's on goal and he's got another person he can free in and it's a better option, he will put them in. So, no, I don't think he's lost his touch, and I think he will give a good return, especially against Brighton, who will have to come out fighting. So, let's watch out for Vardy. He will be back. He'll be back with a bang. Just as you expect, he's not doing anything. You'll transfer him out, bring in another player. Vardy will get those returns, and you'll be like, missed it. So keep faith in Vardy, guys. He will be back. And when Maddison and Barnes are back, will be the lethal trio again. Is it worth keeping Salah? Your choice. I never kept him. So the answer for me with that would be, at present, no. Now, that could, in hindsight, this could backfire on me. He might turn around and score a hat-trick against Fulham, and everyone would be like, hey, you said not to back him. This is the beauty of the game. For me, based on what he's done in the last couple of weeks, he was subbed off for 60 minutes. Will he even start against Fulham? There's no guarantee. So let's see how it goes. If you want to back him, if you've had him in your squad for pretty much all the season and you feel that it's kind of like time to still back him or just get rid of him, it's your choice. I got rid of him 2 weeks ago because I just certainly didn't think it was worth having a player who's got 12.6 mil of your budget out of 100 mil, and he's not even in the best of form. So in the last 12 game weeks, he's got 4 goals and no assists. If you compare that to someone like a Bamford, who's got more goals and more assists, then so let me just confirm the Bamford stats. So let's start from game week 14. 1, 2, 3, 4 goals, assists. 1, 3, 5. Yeah, so 3 goals, 5 assists for Bamford. And he's half his price. So that's my opinion. I wouldn't back him at the moment, just based on his current form and how Klopp took him off the pitch today on 60-odd minutes. So I've got the team back on, guys. This is my team for game week 27. We've gone through the fixtures. I've gone through the questions that you guys have given. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Thank you so much for joining this premiere. This is my first premiere. I hope you enjoyed it. It's been great doing this stream. I've given you guys my inkling, my perspective, my choices, my captaincy decision, my transfers, and what my expectations or my predictions for the game week fixtures are going to be. I wish all of you guys the best of luck. Thank you so much for viewing. Once again, if you liked what you've seen, click the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. Help me get towards 500 to win my PS5. And hit the notification icons if you want to see more content. I will be releasing more videos throughout the weekend and the week ahead, so please stay tuned. Thank you so much. I wish all of you FPL managers the best of luck. Join the league with the code below on the bottom left. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter with the channel names at the bottom, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon. We'll see you guys in the reaction stream. Best luck for game week 27, managers, and be brave and be different. See you guys soon.